Daniel and the lions. Many years had gone by since Daniel had been taken a prisoner to Babylon. He had grown to be a wise, good man, and now a new king sat upon the royal throne. The new king soon learned that no matter what happened, he could trust Daniel. So the new king made Daniel ruler next to himself, over all the people of the kingdom, over all the wise men of the kingdom, over all the princes of the kingdom. The princes became angry when their king made Daniel ruler over them. So angry, they began plotting a way to get rid of Daniel. Said a sly prince, "We'll find some fault in him and go tell the king." So the princes watched Daniel, but not a fault could they find in him. Daniel didn't lie. He didn't cheat. He was never late. He did his work well. "I know what we can do," said the sly prince. "Tell us," chorused the princes. "What can we do?" "Have you not seen Daniel open his window toward Jerusalem morning, noon, and night? Have you not heard him pray to the God of heaven?" asked the sly prince. "Well, we'll write a law that anyone who prays to any god except the king for 30 days shall be thrown into the lion's den." "The king will be so pleased," said a prince. "He'll not think of Daniel. He'll seal the law." "Ho, ho, ho," laughed the princess. "Daniel will be thrown into the lion's den." The princess wrote the law and took it to the king. "O king, we wish to honor you," said the sly one. "We have written a law that anyone who prays to any god except you, O king, for 30 days, he shall be thrown into the lion's den." The king was pleased. He asked for wax that he might seal the law. A servant dipped melted wax on the paper. The king pressed his ring into it, and so the law was sealed. It could not be changed. Messengers were stationed on the city streets to read the new law to the people. Hear ye," shouted the messengers. "He who prays to any god other than the king for 30 days shall be thrown into the lion's den." Fathers and mothers stopped to listen. Boys and girls stopped to listen. Daniel stopped to listen to the reading of the strange new law. Several of the princes hurried down the street that led to Daniel's house. They hid where they could see the window that he always opened when he prayed. They saw Daniel come home and go into the house. Would Daniel open his window and pray as always? Perhaps he would pray in his closet today. Maybe he wouldn't pray at all until the 30 days were past. Anxiously, the princess watched and waited, and then Daniel's window opened wide. The princess saw Daniel kneel in the open window. They heard him pray to the God of heaven. They didn't wait for Daniel to say amen. They raced to tell the other princes what they had seen and heard. Together they would go tell the king. Their plan had worked. Daniel would be thrown into the lion's den. They would be rid of him. The king was sad, so sad for his friend Daniel. He was very sorry that he had sealed the law. Guards brought Daniel to the lion's den. Other guards rolled away the stone from the opening to the den. The lions were hungry. They growled. They roared so loudly the ground trembled. One guard seized Daniel's arms, another his feet. They threw him down among the roaring lions, and then rolled the stone back in place. Suddenly, everything became quiet. The lions no longer roared. The ground no longer trembled. The proud princes smiled at one another. They were rid of Daniel. They were sure they would never see him again. but the king wept. Day turned into night. The moon came up. Hundreds and hundreds of stars sparkled in the dark night sky. The king couldn't sleep. He refused to eat. He would allow no music to be played. From time to time he listened toward the window. Often on other nights the lions roared, but tonight the lions were quiet. Next morning, as soon as the sky began to come light, the king sent for his guard and hurried to the lion's den. The guard rolled away the heavy stone. Anxiously, the king called down into the den, "O Daniel, is thy God whom thou servest able to deliver thee from the lions?" Would Daniel answer? Was he still alive? From down in the lion's den came Daniel's quiet voice. "O king, live forever. My God hath sent his angel and hath shut the lions' mouths, that they have not hurt me." Joyously the king ordered the guard to take Daniel up out of the lion's den. The guard let down a rope to Daniel. Hardly was Daniel out of the den when the lions began to roar and the ground to tremble. But there wasn't a tear in Daniel's clothes. There wasn't a claw mark on his hands. There wasn't even a scratch on his face. Even as God sent an angel long ago to shut the lions' mouths to keep them from hurting Daniel, just so he has promised to send an angel today to protect everyone who loves him. In his book God has written, "An angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him," or love him, "and delivereth them." Psalm 34:7. Do you love him?